Seltzer Time, meatballs!
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Seltzer Time podcast. It's your boy Ricky, aka Dick Chuck, aka the man behind the can at Seltzer Time Official. Here as always with my conversation accomplice, the man with the hunch about Worcester, Travis.
What is crackin' fizzle fiends? Welcome back to another episode of the Seltzer Time podcast. And as always, we are so delighted that you have joined us today. This week on the show, we have a super special guest that we'll get to eventually. But before we do that, y'all know what we have to do. Hey, Ricky, how was your week, buddy?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up, man? My week was awesome, actually. I had a really good week. I worked a bunch, which was nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
We'll get into that a little more throughout the show. But it's been fun kind of getting in the zone of teasing the Worcester Wears holiday stuff. So yeah, just doing that. And then I was able to stop by and support a bunch of my favorite local businesses this week, which was good. Other than that, just watching a lot of Schitt's Creek because it's the fucking funniest show ever.
I'm not watching any television really, but I've seen an episode or two of that. Sarah loves it. And I can't help but think that Eugene Levy's kid is our friend Brendan. Like every time I watch it, I'm like, oh my God, they took Brendan and put him on the screen.
I can't tell if it's David who's more like Brendan or if it's Moira, his mom, because both of them like
fascinating.
We've been watching that show at least an episode or 5 every day for the last like week and a half, maybe 2 weeks now. But sure. Every single time we watch it, I'm like, Brendan's never watched it? I'm like, how has he never watched this show? It's like his kind of comedy. Like
Caitlin says it. Everybody's been saying it. It's funny. Yeah. It's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
And it's meant in like a positive, like the character. It's just for all the reasons we love Brendan.
Exactly. We went out to dinner the other night with Brendan, and we were talking about the show, and that's when we found out that he's never watched it. We're like, how have you never seen this? And we're kind of explaining to him, we're like, the best thing about that show is there isn't like a mean joke. Like none of the jokes are like going after anybody. Like it's very like, it's hilarious and it's super topical, but it's also just like wholesome and it's the best show. Like
it's a modern day family comedy, family situational comedy.
Exactly. Cause we were talking about, like a bunch of shows from like the 90s and movies from the 90s that didn't age very well at all.
I don't know if I talked about it here, but I watched Ace Ventura and like 90% of that movie is still hilarious as shit. And then the end comes and you're like, guys, it was just a guy. You just kissed a guy. Relax. That's a little much.
Yeah. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, it just bums me out. But then again, Jim Carrey redeems himself by, anyway, continuing to be such a progressive mind. And
yeah, and
keep going.
You know, but yeah, so we were just talking about how like this show. I mean, I guess it's easier to say this now than not, but I don't see this ever like not aging well. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like, I don't even know, like most shows that we grew up on didn't age well at all. Even like The Office, like you could never have a show like The Office right now because Michael Scott is such like an ignorant character and he said it himself. Sure. But like that type of thing, even though The Office is bigger now than it's ever been, it really could never like premiere now and then have the legs that it's had.
See, I think right now, like nationally, we are sensitive. We're sensitive to a lot of things because we have shit to fix. Once we once we fix that shit, once we get back on the same level, right? Or not back, but once we all get on the same level and get to a point where a little bit more commonality, those kind of like a little more biting jokes can be funny again. It's just we're having a hard time finding our sense of humor right now, where there's a lot of shit that just isn't funny. But like, meanwhile, something like South Park and their pandemic special can take some really scathing public issues, poke fun at them, make a couple jokes. I laughed a few times, but they were like that.
I thought it was hilarious.
That uncomfortable laugh, like, oh my God, they did it. Oh my God, they shot Token. Like,
they're the only show though that can pull that off because they've been doing it for literally the entire life of that show. There's never been a time when South Park like shied away from the joke that they needed to make. Yeah. Even if like, yes, of course it's going to make people uncomfortable. Like that's the entire point of that show. It's been the point of that show since whatever, 97 or 6 or whenever it came out.
Yeah.
But I just remember like, I wasn't allowed to watch it when I was little, but I would like cut out pictures of Kenny from the newspaper and looking back when I was in elementary school and like tape them to my notebook. But like looking back on it, those articles were all about how you shouldn't let your kids watch this, but it's all I wanted to watch.
I mean, and even like the writing has gone beyond from where it started.
Oh, it's perfect.
It's definitely grown up as the two of them have grown up, and there's still fart jokes in there. There's still testicle jokes. I mean,
and that's like, but that's the best part about that show is like, you need that like dumb comedy because it makes the like extremely on point message of every single episode has a really good point to it. That is like, they're all factual. Like, you know what I mean? Even like the dumbest stuff that they do at the end of the day, it's supposed to like lay out a point of what's going on. And you need all that dumb stuff to kind of like carry the show along. And then you get that, the money shot is as soon as it all comes together and you're like, oh fuck, okay, I get it now, but it's still
moral
funny.
Of the story. Yeah. I even think that like those fart jokes are the thing that like opens the door for a lot of people, where like some people wouldn't watch the show unless for the ridiculous amount of humor that they do, like over the top humor. And then they sneak in morally, I don't know, positive message or like something we can all do to improve. And it's up to you to take what you want to take away from it.
Yeah. How was your week?
My week was equally busy, working like crazy. I'm in the middle of a mural project. I think I can start talking about because we got the concept approved. It's my first mural, man. So it's like I'm super nervous that they weren't gonna like it. I don't know, artist things. We all have imposter syndrome, and it's in forever. So my buddy Grim and I are teaming up to do this mural down at the REC Gardens in Maine South Worcester. We've already buffed the wall thanks to Mike P and Lisa. Lisa and Paul Drexage for helping out buff the wall, and then, or not buff it, but they helped spray it. We were out there with a power washer, and I gotta tell you, man, cool. That is very like satisfying to just kind of go back and forth and watch it come off.
Yeah, we actually have to. My dad has a pressure washer, and I'm going to use it. I mean, probably this weekend because like the weather is very quickly not in my favor. But I got to blast. There's like some like shit on our shed and stuff like that. I got to blast off.
For that same reason, that's why we're trying to get the wall going, because we're trying to get it finished before the cold weather comes. So it's going to be fun. It's a fun project. I think
when do you start painting?
So we've already started this past weekend, and then this week is when we're going to start laying in the actual imagery.
Hell yeah.
A little bit at a time. I don't know. We got to talk. And then I think next week I'd love to have a conversation at the wall where we have Grim on and talk to him about painting a mural because he's a local artist.
Let's do it.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Other things are I had a podcast, or I was on another person's. Wow. I was on another podcast called The Corner Cast, put up by my buddy Khalil, better known as Castro's Corner. We caught up about nerd stuff, talked about how I used to review comic books. I've written comic books. speaking of comic books, shout out Brandon Gorski. That was
Dude.
Banana Land.
Yeah. So I didn't know that was happening at all. Like that was very much a surprise to both of us. So Brandon, our friend Antanas, and Corey all have a comic book that was supposed to come out. And I know that like we were going to have them on the show back in May, I think was the date. Cause they were doing some in-store pop-ups and so these guys all live, like North Shore of Boston, but one of their pop-ups was in Worcester at That's Entertainment. So they were going to be doing a signing and having a pop-up there. And so they had like hit me up. I've been friends with these guys for years now, like 10,
Sure.
12, probably 12 years.
Rad.
Yeah. 12 years. So they were like, dude, like, would you guys ever want to do a podcast episode? Because like, we're going to be in Worcester. And I was like, yes, of course. Like aside from them being three of the funniest people, and Tanis grew up in Worcester. He moved out to the North Shore after college or during college. But we still talk about Worcester stuff all the time. And then Corey and Brandon have come out here for shows constantly. And they're literally three of the best people in the world.
Yeah.
So we were going to do that. Like, I know we were like all talking about doing that. And then like COVID hit and everything got shut down and all that. So I would eventually love to have them on the show. But the other day, like, I like pop on Instagram and I'm like, what did Brandon tag me in? And like, you had already commented on it. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I had no clue. I thought it was just going to be like a picture of him in the Seltzer Time shirt because I know he bought one.
Yeah.
And then I looked and I was like, oh my God, this is fucking awesome. It's so sick.
It's super cool, man. Like, I don't know. It was weird. It now feels like actual fan art. And I know he's just a homie. He drew a picture of his homies to warm up, and all those cats, the illustrators, they pick stuff like that, shareable stuff to warm up to, just because they can't really show their pages because they're part of a bigger thing. But It was an honor. It was an honor to be chosen by him and be illustrated, man. It was really cool.
Yeah, I was very, 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 very stoked on that. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. It was so cool.
So in more comic books, we're also working on a comic book right now with my buddy Matt, better known as Megatrip. The comic book is called Tales to Enlighten. People can check it out at tales_to_enlighten on Instagram. This thing's a graphic novel that will be kickstarted, I believe, eventually. But we're like 118 pages in on a 150 page book or something like that. And we're going through and like moving things around on every page, just kind of making sure all the type. It is so laborious. Like I've never done a book this long all at once.
Okay.
Oh my God, my nose is itchy. And it's a lot of fun. And it's kind of cool because I'm reading the story. I don't really know what happens because I'm getting it so late and it's already been developed up to this point. So I get to read it as I'm working on it. So it's fun. It's super, super fun.
Oh yeah.
It is Banana Land. It's an adult comic book. Anyway, comic book's cool. And then
did you say his name was Megatrip?
Yeah, he goes by Megatrip.
So like over the weekend, I was kind of bored and threw up a TikTok of, I was thinking about like Machine Gun Kelly, who I don't like. I don't like Machine Gun Kelly, but he came out with a record like a couple weeks ago that I guess is like a pop punk record. Like Travis Barker played drums on it. And
it's way different.
Yeah. Everybody I know says it's like very, 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 very good. I wouldn't go that far. Right. It's like, I can't bring myself to listen to it because I don't like him. Like I've never liked a single thing he's ever done, except when Eminem would like body him when he would like talk shit. So I can't listen to it. But then it got me thinking, like, where do you come up with the name like Machine Gun Kelly or like Megatrip? Like all these people have these like dope nicknames. So I decided that my name was going to be Water Bottle Ricky. Because I had this water bottle like right in front of me on my desk, and I was like, "Yeah, water bottle, Ricky." Like that was it. And I was gonna make a joke about like I contain the wetness, but I didn't.
I think you would cause the wetness.
Cause the wetness. Yeah.
You gotta amplify it, man. I mean, I like how you went with these epic names like Machine Gun Kelly and Mega Trip, and I went with Water Bottle Ricky.
It was the only thing that was in front of me. It was like that or like pen case.
I mean, Dick Chuck is pretty like.
Yeah, true.
You could even be like Dick Chop and like.
Ooh, all right.
I don't know.
Dr. Dick Chuck, DJ Dick Chuck.
Yeah, see, I'm into it. Well, we've already used that, haven't we?
True, yeah.
Poster that never really came.
Someday.
That'll happen someday.
Next year.
Yeah. And then in adult news, our friggin' water heater went. It's been leaking for like 2 weeks. So called up a local plumber, had him come out, KB Plumbing and Heating. He looked at it for me and he's like, I hate to tell you, my man, but this has got to get replaced. It's not just leaking out of the bottom, it's leaking out of the top. And I'm like, god damn. Okay, fine. So
that sucks.
$1,500 later, he took the old one out, put a new one in, did a great job. Him and another dude, Josh, I think the guy's name was. Great service. Awesome dudes. Plumbing and Heating. If you need some, thanks guys.
There you go.
All right. Do you think it's time for our super special guest? I mean, this is a fucking get.
Yeah, I'm honestly very surprised that on this thing's media tour, it was able to schedule in a little bit of time with you and I. And then I started thinking about it and I was like, well, like Joe Rogan's canceled. Like, fuck him.
Yeah, really.
And
wait, is he really?
Well, I mean, like, he
back
should
and forth.
be.
Understood.
He's kind of such a douchebag, but he, he doesn't have time for actual intriguing guests anymore. He has to talk about a bunch of bullcrap. That's what he does.
Yeah. And you think that our guests would be interested in that kind of stuff, but instead they've come and spent a few minutes with us. And for those who were unaware, this special guest made his first public appearance at the vice presidential debates last week. Kind of disrupted the whole event and really just gave us all something to unite and like a little small bit of positivity. So we'd like to welcome to the show the fly that landed on Mike Pence's head. Take it away.
Hey, fly.
Hey, thanks for coming on, man. It's nice to talk to you too. So for our listeners that don't know, can you let us know, is it true that you're actually from Worcester? Interesting.
That's crazy. That's wild. I honestly growing up, I grew up kind of near that side of the city. I grew up in West Boylston. So you growing up, in the Burncoat area, that's kind of wild that we've never bumped into each other.
Yeah. I mean, I sometimes I'd spend some time over there, but not too much. Okay. Well, let's get to the point. What made you come out and disrupt the vice presidential debate like that, go around the clear acrylic barriers and sit atop Vice President Mike Pence's head? Really?
I always kind of figured he smelled like that, but I didn't know that he smelled like that until I saw you land on him. And then that's when it really made sense to me.
Yeah, like my wife and I, when we saw that, we lost our minds and we were like, wait a minute, I think I recognize that. Yeah. But then what?
Yeah.
Oh, apparently the YouTube loop stopped. Hold on, start again. Okay. Do you have anything else? Do you want to ask?
Yeah. Really, really quick. As a fly who grew up in Worcester, so you grew up on the north side. What do you buy the candy at Showcase North, or do you go to Price Chopper and buy it and then sneak it in with you?
Of course.
Yeah, I was gonna say I do the same thing. I used to buy it at the movie theater, and then I was like, why am I spending like $9 on like Snickers bites when I'm getting like 4 or 5 of them in a bag when you can just go to Price Chopper before that, get a big bag of them for like $3, and that's the move. Yeah. All right. That makes sense. He classic. I knew I was going to say you sound like somebody who loves the mandarin orange seltzer, and then the fact that he just cut us off, I was like, I love mandarin orange seltzer. That was wild. Dude, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
We really appreciate it.
We'll hope to see you in more debates soon. All right. Nice talking to you too.
Cool. Thanks, man. That was awesome.
That was a get.
Like sometimes I sit back and I'm like, wow, like this show, we started as this, we were like a small little guy in the world. And then, we had a bunch of our friends on the podcast and some of our favorite artists. And then, you would get things like, recording with 4 Year Strong at the Palladium, or talking to Congressman Jim McGovern, or, Kevin Lyman. But to get an absolute, some people would say overnight celebrity. I would say he put his work in, but whatever. To get a massive, massive, massive worldwide celebrity like that during the first week, during that initial media tour,
where everybody wants to talk to him.
Like normally it's like, oh fuck, he's doing, Live with Regis and Kelly, or live, which Regis died. R.I.P. Regis. I don't know.
Well, that's why the Fly's interested, man.
The Fly's like, you know what? Like I wanted to go
bring out Regis, the corpse. I want to talk to the corpse.
That's how it's done. We've made it. We've made it. Thanks for setting that up, by the way.
I'm sorry, that was so stupid. But we had to.
Stupid dope.
Stupid dope. Dude, again, we're not a political podcast, but we all saw it. We all watched it, and we all couldn't believe. Now, the thing that really pissed me off is that the Fly stole the show when right before the Fly happened, Mike Pence said that there's no systemic racism in the United States. And had the Fly not shown up, that would have been the story. So
it's true.
It's a little.
Just going on record, fuck Mike Pence and everything he's ever said or stood for or backed, because he is a gigantic pile of shit. Hence the Flies landing on him.
QAnon thinks that they murdered Mike Pence and built a robot version. So,
oh my God.
Hey,
amazing.
So speaking of cool things that have come here from Worcester, that Liam Neeson movie's finally dropping.
Yeah. So, okay. The best part about that, I'll watch it for sure. But two major things that stand out to me when I think about that movie, while they were filming, there's an Australian guy in the movie. He plays like one of the bad guys, I think, but he was in maybe Fast and the Furious or something.
Okay.
But him and the director, or one of the directors or something, would come to the dive bar. Their thing was like, they'd come to the dive and get fucking lit up, and then they'd go to the pint. So then the next day I'd see Marco and he'd be like, dude, the fucking guy. I was like, oh, I know. He had like, this dude would literally drink West Cork Irish whiskey. He would have like 7 pours of Irish whiskey and he'd be totally fine. It was fucking wild. But, so then like them coming to the dive was pretty awesome. And then, they actually filmed, there's a scene in that movie where a house explodes. Like Liam like blows up a house, and that house is literally, I can see, if you look out where I'm sitting right now, there's a tree, there's like trees in the way. But if you look like diagonal from where I am, you can see the street that house is on. And you like go up and you take a right, and it's like 3 houses down.
No shit.
Naomi brought me like the day that we moved in, we like walked up there. She's like, oh, that's where they shot that movie. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then she showed me the trailer and I was like, oh my God, we're in front of the house right now.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So the movie's called Honest Thief. It was filmed in Worcester and it comes out on Friday. I think it's video on demand. I don't think movie theaters are open. So
I hope not.
Yeah, truly. But
really hope not.
There was one of my favorite Instagram posts that you've ever put up was talking about the dive bar, and you're like, Liam Neeson's running through the fucking city. I gotta find it.
I'll find it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It was one of my, because you say like 3 ridiculous things all in a row, and you're like, something, fuck you, Seltzer Time.
Yeah, I do remember that.
It was great. We might need to repost that just for.
We can do that. I can find it and we'll make some things happen.
In other movie news, another movie that was filmed here in Worcester is coming out, It comes out on October 23rd. It premieres on Lifetime, and it's called
Beautiful.
Christmas on Ice.
That's adorable.
The poster. Go ahead.
No, you go.
So the poster was shot in front of City Hall, and it's so like badly photoshopped because the background's super dark and the foreground's super light. But the whole movie's about them skating on the Worcester Hall Common, it looks like, because the tagline says, "One skate can change everything."
It's so true. I am going to celebrate Mezcal Christmas on Ice, but also, which is like every fucking day. But
I love that. I absolutely love that.
But I love the Lifetime Hallmark Channel movies so much. My mom watches them all the time. Yeah. So like I'll go over, like I'm going to my parents' house after we record, and excuse me.
Nice.
I usually go over on Sundays, and my dad is like doing some kind of a project around the house, yard work, car work, whatever. And then we watch like the Patriots or whatever game's on, you know. My mom will be upstairs doing her thing, and the TV in the living room will be on, and it's like always like Hallmark Channel or Lifetime. So sometimes I'll like sit there and I'll watch these movies, and I'll usually like take a nap, but it's always the same exact storyline, and I don't know why people watch them. It's like here's this really attractive woman from the big city usually, and then something happens where she has to go out to the country, and on her way out there, either her car breaks down or she's getting a coffee or whatever, and the really cute hunky man is either like fixing her car or in her way at the coffee shop or whatever, and they have this weird run-in.
They have a chance meeting. Yeah.
They have a chance meeting, exactly. Fast forward usually about 11 minutes, and that hunky man then comes to like her parents' house because he's their chef or fucking whatever. Like somehow he's associated with whatever she's there for, and they have like a little bit of an attitude problem, and there's always like a weird like like type music thing that plays, and then after a while they fall in love. Yeah, it's an adorable story.
One of them may not have a significant other at some point.
Exactly. Usually, you know, it's like a really beautiful brunette, and the hunky man is dating like the bitchy blonde, and like he leaves her for the brunette, and then the brunette has to make the choice. Like, do I go back to Seattle and continue my extremely lucrative attorney career? Job. Yeah. Or do I open a like fucking pie crust store in
Worcester, Massachusetts,
podunk ass like Leicester type town, and just like live happily ever after wearing like Burberry scarves? I don't know, but that's what happens. And then I'm usually like, this movie sucks, and then I'm like, oh man, that's fucking cute. So
yeah, well, that's mostly why. I mean, my mom on days like today where it's gross and rainy out and she has the day off, she doesn't really want to do anything else, so she will rock Hallmark Channel all day. And you're right.
I feel it.
They're very similar in their storytelling, but I think just the comfort level that she enjoys.
It's just a cute little holiday thing. I can't wait to watch this one, really. Like, it's going to be like, I'm sure like the girl can't skate, and then the guy's going to be like, I'll show you how to skate. And then like they'll fall in love, but like she'll be like his like daughter's teacher or some dumb shit. Like, it's always the same thing.
I want to see, because we were walking in the background of their like tree lot shot. I think Mike Dean and I were walking back and forth and almost trying to be like in the background of the shot. You'd have to see through the
you
fence.
And Mike D are in a Hallmark Channel Lifetime whatever movie, I will be the happiest human being.
I have to watch it just for that scene to see if we got in.
I have never wanted anything more in my entire life.
Because it was so weird. Because again, it was February, and then they took over our parking lot over at Technocopia over on Portland Street, and they filled it with Christmas trees, and they lit it like a Christmas tree lot for a night, and it was just very odd. Yeah, in the middle of February. So this is like right before all the shit's kicking off. Yeah.
That's
like,
insane.
And it feels like years ago now. Like even the Liam Neeson thing was 2 years ago. You fucking said that they were in the dive bar. That shows you how long ago that was.
True.
But
we're coming up real quick on a year of that being closed.
Dude, seriously.
Let's just say, I'm going to throw it out there right now. So the dive closed on November 3rd last year. So this year on November 3rd marks 1 year, and it's also election night. I'm pretty sure nobody's going to work on the 4th. And if they do, they're wasted. Like everybody's drunk on the 4th. You're either celebrating on the 4th that like things aren't completely shit, or you're drinking to forget the fact that like the world or the country is so much worse than we ever thought it could possibly be. But then at the same time, we don't even have the dive bar to go and like hold us. So let's just say the content that night coming from old Dick Chuck over here is going to be lit.
Yeah. Same. There
you go.
Fuck, man. And we really won't know to the end of the month anyway.
Yeah, it's going to take a couple of days.
They're saying that we won't know till the end of November.
Oh, that long?
With as amount, just realistically.
Yeah. Okay.
They're all like, be
That's
prepared.
Crazy.
It's going to be fucking crazy.
Oh, shit. Speaking of drinking,
you did a whole bunch of cool stuff this week.
I did, man. I had like a really cool week. So on Tuesday, right? Yeah, Tuesday of last week, I met our buddy Ben White at Redemption Rock. We were trying to get a coffee for a couple weeks, and it just hasn't really worked out with like me going into work so early and stuff like that. So he was like, hey, like, let's try to grab a beer. And I was like, all right, hell yeah. Like I'm at a New Tradition at noon. Like, let's meet. By the time we close and stuff, it's already like almost 1.
Sure.
So I was like, let's meet at Redemption Rock at 2. We feel super comfortable there. Like we know that it's a safe space. So we met there and had a couple beers and pretzels, and it was awesome. So shout out to the crew at Redemption Rock.
I saw Danny from Redemption Rock at New Tradition on Saturday morning when I ran over there to grab a coffee.
Nice. I was at New Tradition yesterday to get a coffee.
Whoa.
Yeah. I got that brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tart that Mandy's doing is so fucking good.
It wasn't there, or on Saturday it was all gone. There was only the pumpkin one left, and I just wasn't feeling it. I'm
not a huge pumpkin fan, so like I wanted to try it because like I want everything she's done so far. I've really enjoyed, but I don't really like pumpkin, so I knew that it wasn't going to be a thing for me. And then that brown sugar cinnamon one that's
my John.
I've had that one. Like it's so good.
I want everything about that right now in my face.
It was delicious. So had that. And then Friday night. Yeah. Friday night. I was at work on Friday, and I'm thinking about like, I only have a couple beers left in my beer fridge out in the garage. And I was like, I kind of want to like treat myself a little bit and just get a bunch of beer that I like really want to try and really enjoy. So I was thinking about, and it was like a beautiful night too. So I was like, I'm going to drive out to Charlton. I'm going to pick up a case from Treehouse. So I order this case. I love the way their website is set up, kind of. So you have to buy a case of beer to make it worth going out there. And like, I don't even think you can buy less than that. So they have a bunch of like preset cases. A lot of them are like hop forward. I'm not a huge IPA guy, which is weird because like that's what Treehouse is known for, is like their hoppy beers. They do like the best hoppy beers, but I don't care about hoppy beer. Sure. So I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, let me see what I can do. I know they've been making a lot of lagers and stuff like that, and they just released a new like smoked lager I think on Friday. So I was like, all right, whatever, I'm going to do it. So I built my own case, all lagers. I did get one hoppy beer. They have like a crew. I don't even know what it's called actually. Well, I think it's just called crew beer.
Okay.
It's the only hoppy beer that I got. So it's a pale ale. The only reason I got it is because what they did was on the cans, they took pictures of like their staff. So on each can's different. Like this one is Jocelyn. So like Jocelyn, if you're listening, I'm drinking out of you right now. That's a weird thing to say, but whatever.
That's awesome.
Right. So they've got this whole line of beers with like different pictures of all the crew on them. And then some of the cans just have a bunch of names, because like a lot of their front office and stuff is working from home currently. So it's kind of cool to like see names that I recognize and like people I know and like shit like that. And the beer's pretty good, but the lagers that they're releasing right now are unbelievable. Like that brewery does very little wrong, but their lager game is so fucking awesome.
Nice.
So I shot out there to pick up beer. It was my first time getting, I dropped my headphone. It was my first time getting, curbside from Treehouse. So I don't know if you've been there, but there's like a huge long driveway that goes way up to the brewery. And then you go like up around to the side and then you just sit in line. It didn't take that long, but I was there for like probably 40 minutes.
There it is.
It wasn't that bad. I've waited in line for a lot longer.
That's what Mark Barnstein says. He said, when I've asked him how long, he's like, it wasn't that bad. I think we only waited 3 hours. And I'm like, not at Treehouse, at other breweries, but still.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
I'm not a fan of the like waiting in line for beer. I don't care that much. I had already ordered this and paid for it. So I was like, I have to go pick this up.
No, I feel it. I completely feel it.
Yeah, but it's also like I'd rather sit in my car than stand outside, because I'm like listening to sports talk radio and like posting a thing on YouTube and going through Twitter, and like that was just like getting some shit done.
You posted a YouTube video from the car?
Yeah.
I loved seeing the skeleton go up. I met the big skelly boy.
Yeah. That's the video I posted. I was like, well, here I am. So
I am.
I just like got
beer.
a bunch of, yeah, right. There you go. Write the song. So I got a bunch of stuff done, and then you come around the corner and they've got like a bunch of people in the parking lot who come up to your car, and I've never done it before. So I like rolled down my window and the girl's like, yo, window up. I'm like, oh, my bad. So I roll my window back up. She comes over and she's like, order number and ID. And I was like, dope. So I hold my phone up and my ID. She checks it. She like calls it in. She's like, you're good. I was like, this is like the safest thing in the whole world. Excuse me. So you drive around, you kind of come in like to like the bottom. I'm guessing it's like a loading area. I don't know, but you kind of come into this little spot. This guy comes over to your car. He asks again, like what your order number was. He like yells to somebody and they hand truck it right up to your car. They leave it. They step back. You get out of your car. You pick up the case. You put it in your trunk, shut it, get in your car, drive away. Then they take the hand truck. Like there is zero contact with a human being. It's fucking perfect.
That is pretty cool.
So yeah. So I was pretty pumped about that. Yeah. Went to Shasu Ramen again.
Dude, everybody's like losing their minds
It's
about
so
this place.
good.
I gotta go. I gotta go.
It's so good.
I think Sarah and I will probably go this week.
It's fantastic. I don't want to eat inside anywhere, but like they do everything correctly.
Can you get takeout there?
You can. Yeah. Yeah. Joe got it. And he said it was amazing through takeout. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. we got like a couple different things this week. But I got a dry ramen, which I've never had. It's like ramen with no broth.
Okay.
It was like lemon pepper chicken, this like pesto noodles, and like I got charred corn, and there was something else in there. It was so fucking good. Like all the food's amazing. The drinks we got were great. I got that
edamame again.
Edamame again. Dude, we could not. We sat down. I was like, yo, I need that popcorn chicken stuff and I need that edamame now. If I gotta get my own order, I will. It was so good. So we did that.
I could picture you and Naomi fighting over the edamame, like the last edamame.
Well, so there was a couple. So it was like her and I, and then we went with Brendan and our friend Karen. So it was like the four of us. So we were like kind of sharing, but it was, they're like doing lunch now too. So like, there's going to be days where I'm just like, I think I'll just have edamame for lunch. Like, I don't give a fuck. It's so good.
Respect. That's it. I'm sure there's way grosser things you can shove in your face for lunchtime.
Oh yeah, for sure. But what else did I do this week? I got Glazy Susan for breakfast on Saturday before work. I got that, and I got coffee from Rain. They have
Nice.
it's nitro cold brew. It's called the Royal. It's nitro cold brew with salted sweet cream foam.
Okay.
Dude, it's so fucking good.
I have not been there yet. I drove by
It's
Saturday
amazing.
morning and the line was down the street. Like
Really?
It was.
Oh, I must have like just missed that
line.
then. Okay, hell yeah! I got there and the line was like to the bottom of the ramp, but which is like 8 people, so it wasn't that bad. I also got there at like 9:15. I was going to work, so it wasn't that bad.
I want to say this was like 10:30.
Okay, good. That's good. I'm glad they're busy, but I'm also glad that I
was like 9:30.
nailed it.
I think it was like 9:30.
I must have literally just nailed the timing somehow.
You lucky.
And then yesterday we did New Tradition in the morning for coffee and Pop-Tarts. And then on our way home, we stopped at Dead Horse and got takeout. I am on record on this podcast saying that the Dead Horse breakfast sandwich that I used to get at brunch is like, without a doubt, I'm not even, there's no way I'm wrong here, but that's the best sandwich in the city of Worcester. And it's like probably top 2 or 3 I've ever had in my entire life. Probably top 2. Until yesterday. They have a new breakfast sandwich.
There's a new sandwich.
Dude. But Naomi and I were talking about it this morning. Like, it's the fucking best sandwich I have ever had in my life.
Really?
In my life.
What was on it? What was on it?
33 years of existence. So it's like a baguette from, that's all it is. It's just a baguette.
You just get a piece of bread. Yum. Sorry.
So it's bread. They get their bread from this place called Iggy's. So get their bread there. It's amazing. It's like a piece of bread from there, soft scrambled eggs, which Dead Horse does the best soft scramble. It's so fucking good. But it's like those, hot sauce, it might have been something else. I got bacon on mine, obviously. And then they had these like potatoes. I don't really know how they did this, but these potatoes were like beautiful. Like they were like, they were like soft.
You were making
me
fluffy. So hungry.
And like, dude, I'm starving right now. And I just ate lunch. I can't stop thinking about the sandwich. They were like soft and fluffy and like kind of crispy on the outside. And just like, they were like, it was like, I ate a Prince song. It was like how I felt like biting into it. I was like, oh my God, it was unbelievable.
That's hilarious.
If like Prince and Barry White had a baby
in your mouth,
in my mouth, it was this sandwich. It was amazing.
I can't even control myself. This is hilarious.
Dude, it was so good. And then like, it was just so good to also like, I mean, we went in to order, but we just like hung out while they made our food and then we took it home with us.
Sure.
But, I got a Bloody Mary cause like, duh. And then they get Julia, like shout out Julia. She gave us a little box of cookies because we were like, oh, we're going home to like, to clean out our garage because we needed to like, all of our stuff has been in there, which right now, Naomi's car is parked in there.
Dude, congratulations.
Thank you. We got so much done yesterday. It was amazing.
I love those kind of days.
It was the best. So Julia like wrote us a little message on the cookies and she was like, oh, like happy unpacking day. Like we didn't order the cookies. The kid who brought us over our sandwiches was like, here are your sandwiches. Like, oh, thanks so much. And he's like, this is from us. And we're like, what the fuck? It was just like such a great experience. It like made me miss being in there and just the way you get treated at Dead Horse Hill is amazing. Yeah. So
no, they're super personal.
Yeah, they kill it. So if anybody is listening to this next weekend, go get that breakfast sandwich. I will see you there. It is the best thing in the world. It kept me full. Like we ate it at like 12:30. And then at like 6:30, her mom got this like really dope pizza from somewhere in like Arlington or something. So we like brought a couple of pieces over to like reheat up. We were going to eat those, and it was delicious, but it was also like, I'm not even like remotely hungry. I was so full, but yeah, it's the best sandwich in the entire world. Go now. If it was open, I would go get one.
Okay.
It's so good. It's so good.
See, we should have went there, man. So like Sarah and I did Mount Wachusett yesterday. We hiked Mount Wachusett, which was awesome. If nobody's done that, it's fucking awesome. $5.
We
if
did it
you're a
last year.
Mass
I haven't done it in a while, but
it's great. It's a great little hike. I mean, it probably took us 2-3 hours, whole thing. And there's so many different trails and stuff. But on the way back, we were just looking for somewhere to pop in through West Boylston. And like all the little mom and pop shops weren't really open yet. And they all weren't really doing takeout. We ended up going to fucking Dairy Queen just because it's right there.
Did you really?
I always think it's funny that you can order the chicken with the toast. Because I'd always think it'd be funny to just like go up to the speaker box and like, hey, can I get like 4 pieces of toast and fucking flurry? Yeah, or Blizzard, whatever.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't. So we got chicken and toast and French fries.
So the place.
Park.
Oh fuck yeah. The place that's next to Dairy Queen, the like Cajun kitchen.
That's where we wanted to go, but they weren't open.
Really?
They weren't open on Sunday.
Oh, so that place?
That's the best. It's the absolute best. That's where we wanted to go.
It's delicious.
I've had gator bites there that were interesting but good. I've had oh my God. Sarah and our friend Jen love their boiled dinner where you get like the crab boil and it's like a whole big ass thing. The three of us went and the two of them went nuts on this dinner together where I just sat on the side and ate my chicken.
There you go. Yeah, that place is very, very, very good. Hell yeah. Yeah, that's great, man. I'm going out to West Boylston in, I don't know, like 40 minutes.
So truth be told, Sarah was like, when we were on our way home, we were in West Boylston and she goes, text Ricky and ask him where we should go to eat. And I'm like, but it's Sunday. He's probably with his family. I ain't trying to harass him with his family. Turns out you weren't.
Dude, you can text me any moment of the day. I am very rarely ever too busy to not be on my phone.
Fair deal. Fair deal.
Yeah, I mean, like you could have done Steve's Pizza, which like Steve's Pizza's food is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
The guys that work there are a little rough, but if you know that going in, it's fine. You just kind of ignore them. Ollie's, which is like right across the street from Dairy Queen. It's like a little like pizza spot. I've had pizza from there. I've had salads from there that are like pretty solid. The pizza's really good. And I've had their Italian grinder, which is fucking dope. And then trying to think of like what else you could eat in West Boylston. That's like, those are kind of the spots right there that are like really, really good.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, there's, that's kind of it, actually. I think that's all you've got, really.
There was some spot up on, like, it was kind of set back. They had tables and chairs outside, but all the chairs were pulled up. Like everything was just closed up. And
maybe the Mill. The Mill is like the only restaurant in the city, or in the city. Holy shit, in the town.
That's what.
I hated. I hated the Mill, but
Why? Why did you hate it?
The menu used to suck. All my friends like to go there after Finders closed, which Finders like wasn't very good, but it was like the spot.
Sarah was looking for Finders. She couldn't remember if it was called Finders or Keepers.
They had both. There was a Finders and a Keepers. I'm not even kidding. Keepers sucked. It was the same exact menu, but it was like a shit vibe. And it ruined their entire empire because Finders was busy. Every moment they were open, you couldn't get a table. That was the best place to go in the whole world because you could get like dinner and get drunk as fuck for like $26 because dinner was like 12 and you could get like huge beers for like $3.99. And I was like, yo, fuck yeah. It was just the West Boylston kid spot.
The townie just came out.
Dude, it was townie as fuck. I knew. So you'd walk in there, right? It was this old, it used to be a house and like they changed it, all stuff. So we used to go up there for like Bruins games and everything. And every kid from West Boylston, when you turn 21, you go to Finders first. Like you always go into Worcester because that's where all the bars are. But everybody goes to Finders and gets dinner. And everybody's like, my parents don't really like, I mean, they like Finders, but they don't really like go out. But like everybody else's parents were always there. So you'd go, there'd be like 30 of us. We all graduated together. So like somebody would be home from school break or whatever. you go to Finders and everybody's parents are like, yeah, and they're like sending over rounds of beers and sending over shots, like all the stuff. Like we knew the servers and the bartenders, and we graduated with half of them. And like you get pretty sloppy. It was great.
Sounds like an experience.
It was so cheap. It was the fucking best.
See, I don't have any of those. I don't have any of those hometown experiences. Like I know there's a spot in Watertown, Connecticut where they all go drink, but I would I'll be never caught dead there. Like I'll just go visit my parents and then leave. I like it better that way.
Yeah, you're better off. I mean, now like
my personal opinions.
Yeah. Finders was like the only spot that was like that. Now, I mean, they closed. So like, excuse me.
Much like
now
Worcester, they're a place without a cool hangout spot. Or like,
yeah, pretty much.
There's a void there that needs to be filled by something. Very
much so. Before we get into Stokes and Pokes, I love the Menzingers. Like it's like them and Bad Rabbits are like and the Get Up Kids are like my favorite bands.
Sure.
I have been really indifferent on bands doing live streams. Like I love the idea. I love the fact that bands are creative enough to do this. Newfound Glory, I think, has done it twice since COVID started. They did like a regular one, and then for like a record release, and then they did a 20th anniversary of the self-titled record. I've seen clips, and both times I was like, I kind of wish I paid the $13, $12, whatever it was, to watch this from home. But I also don't I've never been a huge fan of those like concert DVDs. Like it never really did it for me. But like the Menzingers were doing one, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. It's like $12. I'm going to buy a ticket because you can watch it from it was Saturday night, but like we were out. So it streams until I think the 16th, like if you like through your link that they email you. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to buy it and I'll watch it, eventually. So I watched it last night and it was amazing. Like, besides the fact that I love that band, just being able to like watch a show of a band and like, granted, I watched it after it happened live, but the live stream, like the idea of all of these people throughout the world watching the exact same show where the band's performing at that moment is such a different feeling than watching a DVD where they're like live from fucking New Mexico. Like, it's like, oh, sick. Like the show happened like 3 years ago, but whatever. It was amazing. And I was like in my pajamas and like drinking a fucking mug of Pilsner and like the cats were there. Like it was amazing. It was the absolute greatest. Just such a cool experience.
I could see bands continuing to do that type of performance even after COVID comes back. Like, I mean, we talked about it last week with Eric that like, it's whether or not you want to count it as a live performance or actually seeing the band live, like the amount of people that they can connect with one performance is just far superior. And then again, if they make that show unique in some way, shape or form, where it's create an event around it.
Yeah. So
absolutely makes sense.
It got me thinking about like the Menzingers specifically. Like that's what I was watching. And like, you figure for the most part, especially like where we live very close to Boston. So we're getting, anytime a band's going to tour, we're usually the Menzingers play this area at least once a year, normally twice, because we live in Worcester. So we'll usually get like the B market, even though Worcester venues are much bigger than Boston venues. But what I would love to see a band like that do, especially a band who has, 5 records out now or whatever they're at, 6 records out, you could do your typical touring schedule, right? And then during your off time, maybe you figure out and you do one of these live streams where you play all like the B-sides and the throwback, the stuff that you're not going to play on tour because you have to play new stuff and you're playing, predominantly songs from the last 3 records. where like they've got a record that they didn't even touch last night. That's incredible. Never mind all the B-side songs that they've released that aren't on records. They only played one of those last night.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, you could do a full show after your touring cycle is done, where you do it from a studio and you play an entire hour and a half of songs that you don't play on tour. And you're still going to get people. I mean, I'm still going to go to both times they play around here and probably fucking Providence. Like, and I know people who are going to do that, but it'd be really cool to do a show that was like just classics or just throwbacks and like no singles. Jay-Z has done that.
What if it's literally requests? You know what I mean? Where it's like fans can
they
vote.
Took a couple. Yeah, they did that. They had like some stuff voted in, which one of them I think was one of the like B-side songs. Jay-Z did a thing at Radio City a couple years ago where he only played rarities. He didn't play a single at all. Single. He played no singles.
All my singles. All my singles.
Right. And like, that's cool to be able to go to that show, but you're only getting diehard fans.
Right.
You're not getting,
but
the
that's
regular
what that show's
people.
For.
Exactly. But you're never going to set up an entire tour on that because it's not financially responsible. But a live stream,
yeah.
Fuck yeah. You charge $10. Like, I could have had 30 people in my living room last night, even though I would never fucking do that, but especially during COVID. But I think like, each person could pay like $1 to see this show. Like, I don't know. I think it's changing the game for sure.
I think back to like Woodstock. I want to say it was like Woodstock 98 or 98, 96, whatever 99. It was. 99. Thank you. My friends down the street, his dad bought it on
the pay-per-view.
And so we watched it. I watched like the women take their tampons and throw it on the stage for Red Hot Chili Peppers, Suck My Kiss.
Yep.
Like, and
such a good song.
I would never consider. So like, this is something I thought about after the fact, after last week, when Eric asked the question, do you count that as going to Woodstock? I don't count that as going to Woodstock, but I definitely count that as watching Woodstock as it happened. So it was like, I totally could see that type of mentality, but like a band that I've only got a chance to watch their live performances on YouTube is a band called New and Afrobeat, which I want to say they're Colombian. They're this like Colombian multi-faceted band. I don't know. They play this really rhythmic and euphoric music. It's fucking awesome, but they don't come tour Worcester. So the only chance I've ever got to see them play live is on the internet. And I'm super thankful for stuff like YouTube because I'd never get to know about this band. And then I think of things like Tiny Desk Concert. And that's been something that's been around now for almost 9 years, 10 years. And like they crush and they get these super unique performances by these acts. Like the Run the Jewels performance is super unique. I
watch that one all the time. That one and the
Mac Miller.
That one, Mac Miller and Anderson .Paak are my three favorites.
Yeah. So like there's tons, but in the days of COVID, I love that there's all these new like music shit coming out. Like, again, I'll bring them up again. 2 Minutes to Late Night has been doing these incredible, like rock star laden covers. Like they just released one today with dudes from Mastodon, Darkest Hour, and Baroness covering an Ozzy Osbourne song. So it's like,
sick.
It's fucking bananas who they're able to get together to play these tunes together. And now like the video editing's getting better, and if people can throw some money at them, they can afford to do some more shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, like last night, I'm probably actually going to pop on later and buy some stuff, but they had like a whole, right. They had a whole like merch line. There was like coasters and like, just like things that I thought were kind of interesting because like the point of this is to watch it at home. So like, yeah, you probably want like Menzingers coasters to put your beer on. Like that's fucking rad. I'm not going to buy those. I don't care about that stuff, but I think I'm interested in it, but it's like, that's not for me. That's for like some 20-year-old, that's like your dorm room or something. You know what I mean? Not for like an adult.
I don't know, man. I could see someone like Kiss doing a live stream and selling Kiss slippers, and make sure you're wearing your Kiss slippers before you.
I'm sure they have already
stream.
Sold them.
Yeah, no, 100%.
But like they also had like all the records and like, you know what I mean? Like there was a legit merch store that you can log into and buy stuff. And like, it got me thinking, and I was like, well, I'm only paying $13 for this ticket to this show, right? Which normally a Menzingers ticket, you're looking at, it's probably $20, 25. It depends where they're playing,
with
what's
fees
going on.
and that's not even what the
with
band's
fees and all
getting,
that
right.
crap. But you're also like, you're not driving. So you're not paying for gas. You're not paying for parking. You're probably not going out to dinner. You're not buying $7 fucking PBRs at the House of Blues. Like, you know what I mean? You're already cutting. For the most part, going to a concert is like $100. Even if you go to a concert where it's only like $20 for a ticket, but for 2 tickets, you're already at 40. If you're going to Boston for parking, the cheapest parking you're finding is like 15 to $20. That's cheap. That's not even what it's probably going to cost you. It's going to cost you more, but you're driving 40 minutes both ways. There's tolls. You're going to dinner somewhere where you're spending fucking $50, like at least, probably more. Like, you're looking at $150 for 2 people to go to a show where the ticket price is only $20. So like the idea of paying $13 and it's in my living room and I'm like, oh my God, in my mind instantly goes to like, what can I spend this other $150 on? And I'm like, dude, that's not a thing. Shut the fuck up, Ricky. All of a sudden I get a box full of vinyls and like,
dude, that's the magic that my wife used to make. Well, it's on sale, so it'd be stupid for me not to get it. Okay. But I feel you. No, I'd love to see it. I want to see more bands taking advantage. Again, decent production value is going to garner more attention too. And if it sounds great.
And the way they shot it too, it wasn't just like one camera in the corner. There was like a guy in the middle of them with a camera. And then there were cameras set up in the room for different angles. And like they did an encore, but the way they did it was like they all unplugged and they walked out of the room and the camera followed them up to the glass and you watch them talking to Will Yip, who like is one of the best producers fucking ever. They're at his studio. So they're talking to him and they all do a shot and they kind of like talk for a second and then they come walking back out and they do like, I think 3 more songs, but they made it feel like a show while giving you the look at like I know what a band does in between the final song and the encore. But like people who've never been in that situation probably don't know that. Like, I mean, I'm sure it's not the hardest thing to figure out. Like they're either standing off to the side or they're doing a shot and taking a second and walking back out. Yeah. Like there's not a whole lot that can go on, but to see it was such a cool thing in my mind for other people who have never been a part of that or been able to see it like that. Yeah. It's cool.
I mean, and like comedians have been doing shit like that for years where you get to take a peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I'm not going to watch every fucking live stream that happens, but I think, you know, if the Get Up Kids did one, that's something, or Saves a Day, like those are bands that I would really enjoy to watch, but I'm not. And New Found Glory is like one of my favorite bands ever. I haven't watched either of the ones they've done so far.
If International Superheroes of Hardcore come out and do a live stream, I will watch that one.
That would be mad funny. I'd watch that.
I think it's about that time.
It is.
Hit us, Solon.
When you hit them with those stones, ow! Gotta slap them with those pokes. Oh yeah! Stokes and pokes.
All right. I figured out my poke while we were talking. We hung out with Emily and Josh, our friends Emily and Josh, over the weekend, Friday night, and we got what arguably is my favorite pizza in Worcester, Birch Tree Pizza. Put it in order, good. Make it super easy, order online, call ahead, or not call ahead, but call when I'm there, pick it up, had to go through the fucking peanut. And then that thing happened where I didn't check the order before leaving, get all the way home, open up the boxes, and we had ordered a pepperoni, a vegetable for Sarah and I, and then we had asked them what pizza they wanted, and they said we want just cheese. And I said, cool, that's fine with me. And we opened it up and got a second vegetarian one. So I'm like, man, like if this was the pepperoni one that got messed up, I wouldn't have cared. But this is the one they asked for. I gotta make this right. And it's super fucking annoying. Like it's just annoying. But shout out to Birch Tree. I called him up. I think that dude's name was Matt. I was like, hey man, here's what happened. He's like, no, don't even worry about it. You keep that second pizza. If you don't mind, could you come back down? And I did. I'm not too far away. And I just ran back down. Basically had the other one ready in the time it took me to get down there. And I got
That's awesome.
And they got their cheese pizza. And they were so shout out Birch Chew for making it right. Appreciate you guys. I hate that annoying where you just you don't get the order right. It just annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I
don't know if you had any stories of getting your order wrong.
I'm the worst when I get my order wrong because if I was in your situation where like you were saying, if it was the vegetable one, you would have just kind of lived with it and not worried about it. But because it was somebody else's, you felt the need to make it right. I would have done the exact same thing. But if it was just me, I would be like, yeah, whatever, I'll eat this. I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know anytime I get my food wrong, I kind of just live with the consequences, I guess you could say, even though it's not.
Most times if I order something without pickles and it has pickles on it, I'm not going to send it back. I'll just take off the
fuck
pickles.
No, yeah. Yeah.
But Sarah's we could take off the veggies. And I'm like, the whole thing is veggies.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty obvious this is not a cheese pizza.
Yep.
So I am stoked on two things. One is the Instagram, the Twitter account Strip Club Reviews at strip_reviews.
So good.
While I was doing research for the show, I came across this, and somebody named M. Smitty reviewed Hurricane Betty's, but we know it as Sweaty Betty's in Worcester, Massachusetts. And his or her review, M. Smitty is an androgynous name. Their review said, "I especially liked the pregnant one." So shout out to that amazing Twitter account. Dude, just reading through some of these, this place smells like rotten cabbage, and I'm not sure if the woman working there or the dirtbag sitting at the table next to me.
Jesus.
There was one about how some guy smoked crack and jizzed in some girl's mouth, and he definitely gave her herpes. And I'm like, good God, I want to continue reading this forever. So yeah, slice of life. And then what I really was looking for was to see if Nandy Bushell had made a response video to Dave Grohl. We talked about it a couple weeks back about how there's this epic rock and roll battle between the two of them, where Dave wrote a song about Nandy and she responded with her own song about him called Rock and Grohl. It's fucking awesome. She's playing bass, guitar, drums. She's singing. The whole song's about how she loves rock and roll and how Dave Grohl's her idol and how she's going to kick the crap out of him.
I love it.
She ends it with checkmate and she drops the sticks. And whoever's doing the recording, I think it might be her dad or her mom. Somebody's helping her, obviously, unless she's doing all this shit herself. And then I'm like, get my jaw off the floor.
Yeah.
But you can't fake the amount of personality she has, the amount of enthusiasm, or just the sheer talent.
Hell yeah.
She's putting these close-up videos of her playing the notes. You're not faking that. It's not. Yeah, that you are playing those notes. You are playing you might be
gangster.
Yeah, you might be using a video cut and not the studio track that's on the album. But still, you are holding those notes and playing those notes in that video. So it was cool. It was fun to watch.
Fuck yeah.
And that is what I have for this week. What do you have for us?
All right. So my poke is I'm going to poke myself because I don't take the time to think anything through before I do it. And case in point, this morning, we had to pump a bunch of water off of the pool cover because it had rained a couple times since we put it on. So it was starting to get a little saggy. We figured we'd pump the water off of it, clean the leaves and the acorns off because luckily there's a fucking tree that hangs over it. So It's a mess. Yeah. So we figured we'd get all that off. We got to buy some new water bags to go around the outside. So we'll have to do this one more time. And then that'll probably, by then I think shit will be frozen. But, so we had to do that this morning, which was fun. I had to buy muriatic acid. I don't know, some acid stuff. to fill I had to buy like a big 20-gallon trash bucket, basically fill it with water and then dump a gallon of this stuff in. And then you just let the filter sit in that for 24 hours. So me being the moron that I am, we do all the stuff. I like take all the parts of the filter out to the driveway, hose everything down, killing it, stoked. And then I fill this 20-gallon bucket with water, like 18 gallons full, and then realize like I need to bring this to the backyard area because you don't want to dump the acid on your driveway because it'll stain it. So you want to dump it into like dirt or, grass in the back that you don't care about.
Your
so
neighbor's backyard.
Yeah. Like maybe like, an animal's drinking source. Just kidding. I'm totally fucking around. PETA, please don't kill us. I would never do that. My girlfriend would kill me. But we also don't have any drinking sources around here. But so I'm like, oh my God, I can't lift this thing. Oh, I can lift it, but I'm kind of far from where I want to be with it. So we have this little dolly thing. So I lift the bucket onto that. I'm now pushing 18 gallons of water around the house. I'm spilling it all over the place, spilling it all over me. I'm soaked. It's cold outside.
It is cold today.
Not very happy with myself because if I took 14 seconds to think about how I wanted to do this properly, none of this would have happened, but we're good. We've made it. And
now
I
you have a
just
story.
Drove myself crazy. I lost my patience when I got it to where I wanted it to be. Cause of course, like most things, when you're a complete moron, I lifted the 18 gallons of water and then couldn't get the dolly to get out of my way. So I'm trying to kick it. Cause it everywhere I've tried to push it, it just kind of stayed just enough in the way. And I was like, I'm going to fucking lose my mind. So finally I got it. Everything's good. I may have tossed it through the backyard, but whatever, it's no big deal. So poking myself into the direction of
I wish there was security
taking 2
cameras
seconds.
for that.
Oh, dude, it was adorably horrible.
Adorably horrible.
So yeah, I'm gonna try to think a little bit before I do things.
Luck with that.
Thanks, man. We all know it's not going to happen.
We can't wait for the stories.
Oh, next week. I'm sure it'll be something else. My stoke is during quarantine, Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day has been releasing different cover songs that he's recording all himself or with his kids playing the other instruments. And he's calling it No Fun Mondays. And he's covered all kinds of stuff. The Replacements, he's covered, he did a great cover of Manic Monday. He did a cover of That Thing You Do. I Think We're Alone Now has been my favorite one. But he's been doing just really, 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 really cool covers. He's played one of those Tonight shows or something. They shot it from his studio and stuff. But he released another one the other day, and along with releasing that, they announced that he's putting all these together on a record and doing a proper release. And I was like, this is awesome. Aside from the live stream, which, has kind of become a thing that everybody's doing, nobody's really released a record. The Menzingers did. They released an entire acoustic Americana version of their newest record, which they recorded over the last couple months from their homes. But this Billy Joe thing is really cool because it's just rock and roll. He's just doing garage rock covers of honestly, some of my favorite songs ever. But I love the way he sings. I love the way he approached these songs. So they're releasing that in November, and I'm extremely, extremely excited about it. I think it's cool. Super interesting way.
Just, you made me think of other albums that came out during quarantine. Blockhead released an album called Quarantine Peace.
Who's Blockhead?
Blockhead is a beat maker. He's a producer. He's worked with tons and tons of artists. But he released an album called Quarantine Peace that he was
Hell yeah.
Valid. But yeah, you don't see it very often. There's not a ton of people that are releasing.
Yeah, which I get. Like, I understand the like.
But
We're
now
not going to release this
fucking-
because we can't tour on it. But like, we're 8 months into this thing. Like, you got to make a move at some point.
Yeah.
It's not going to end anytime soon. So
No. So yeah, you got to figure out how to make it viable.
yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's probably going to wrap us up. You guys have done
That
it.
works
You've
for me.
listened to us ramble for a while. Hold on. Somebody wants to say something. Oh, fuck me. It's loading. All right, fine. Dude, you had your moment. You had your 2 minutes of fame. Now get the hell out of here.
Right? Kid gets one interview and just can't get off the phone.
I think I just slapped a celebrity.
Well, it happens.
Until next week, y'all, you can find us at seltzertime.com where you can listen to a whole bunch of old episodes, find some merch, look at our pretty faces, send us a message about what you hate about us, give me tips on how to stylize my beard, or I don't know, I'm running out of things, but find us there.
Maybe like you can console me through the process of NHL free agency, which so far has brought the Bruins and me personally a really, really good third line winger. But everything else I thought was going to happen has pretty much gone to shit. So
like most of else 2020, it's been garbage.
Fucking garbage.
Find me on Instagram and social media at Hunchback Travis.
You can find me at DickChuck77, Seltzer Time Official, among others.
Be good to each other.
Definitely rate our podcast on iTunes so we can have other people. I think it would be really funny if people are like, oh my God, like here's a podcast that's all about seltzer. And then they listen to it and they got us. But yeah, so rate it so that iTunes thinks that we're like way cooler than we are. So we can get some people listening that don't know what's up.
We'd really appreciate you.
Eventually this podcast will land in the hands of Ryan Reynolds, who's going to be like, this is the best show of all time. How have I never been on this? They had The Fly on there. He'll come on the show. He'll love us. We'll get to hang out. Maybe
We'll
like have a couple cocktails.
Guy. Yeah.
We'll talk about Extra Guy.
He'll
invest. Free Guy, whatever. We'll figure out the name by the time we have him on. He'll invest in the show. And that's pretty much the start of the rest of our lives is right there.
Rise to fandom.
Okay. It's not all about me, man.
Oh,
we're both on this train.
Go Team Bubble.
Heyo.
All right. Well, until that happens, we'll see you guys here next week.
Okay. Bye, guys. Yo, fuck Christopher Columbus, by the way.
Yeah, 100%. And fuck Mitch McConnell, too, for that matter.
Oh, yeah. Fuck him.